We've already looked at creating, using directives, at least structural directives, and the impact that it has on the DOM. It kind of completely removes away the element from the DOM itself. Now, we will learn how to also create our own custom structural directives. And to do this, I'll just start up the application right here and create a directive over here itself. So remember the directive. I mean, we've done it before as well. It's Oh, I think I'm just in a wrong project right here. Sorry. And I'm going to be creating my directive right here. Our directive is going to be just the reverse of if right here. So, we have ng, if right here. We'll create another directive right here, which we'll call it as ng. See, we should not be using ng unless that ng namespace that belongs to the Angular. So we'll call it like app unless, right? So it's just kind of a reverse of this. So if if the condition is true, it shows, and if it is false, it hides. But here, if it is true, it's going to hide, and that's the way it is. So just the opposite way it's going to work, right? Okay. Now to do this, I just need to create this directive right over here. Now I'll just go down here and create new file. Call it unless dot directive dot ts. And I mean, I'll just kind of create a component first. Actually, generate a component structure, because see, a component is always with a selector and an HTML. But in case of a directive, right, when you specify here directive, it's just the selector, right, and that's all that we need. So I'll just make the selector as unless. Remember this comes from the CSS syntax, so that's why I've just used app unless right here. So I just wanted to make app unless. That's what I'm trying to use here. Yes. Okay. And then the constructors, I'll need two things. Remember the whole structural directives works with using a template. So I just need to get the public. Now this is what I really need, template ref, so that I can bring it from the. Not sure why this is giving an error. Yeah, so it's asking for a type actually, and I'm just going to give it any. And the next thing, of course, that I'm going to do is I'm going to make it public. Uh, View container ref. So what we are going to use is we're going to use our template and host it on the view container ref, right? That's what we will be attempting to do in this right here. So these are the dependency injections that I'll possibly need, and then I'll just write my own conditions right over here. Now to do this, I'm going to here specify a setter. So I mean, I can easily generate some input type setters right here. Input get set properties right here. So you notice it's just kind of an input property, which is to get. I mean, we don't really need get as much, but we'll definitely need setter property. So I'll just use the setter property right here. Just to copy the same syntax right here, paste it over here, and then just change the property name. Remember, you're trying to set some value right here. See, in the app component, you have an app unless, and you're trying to set something into this particular property. So this is going to be a property name, and I'm just going to use this property name to set the property. No, not the getter, but the setter. And whatever you're going to receive, you know, right here, is going to be a Boolean type and maybe I'll make it, condition here as well, and going to be of Boolean type. And then we'll take a call on how do you, code this. So just make it input. So it comes from the, the same Angular core. We're just using Angular core properties. That's it. We'll not even need this. Just the setter, right, of the property. And now the app unless is going to give us the value, right? So I might just use this, using if the condition, and there is an else condition, right? That's what we need to do. And I'll just do a console.log here of the condition just to see, the condition is getting passed here or not. So the application is already in use right now, and I'll just go down here, open up the application from here, inspect this. Okay, so we get some kind of error right here, maybe because I've not really used this directive over here. So maybe just make it as unless directive, like so. And I'll use this unless directive in the module. Unless you declare it in the module, right, it's not going to be available to your application. So right over here, wherever your app component is, just use unless directive, right? And let's see. So there is still some kind of error on the template ref, because it's not able to find it, but I'm still able to put here some content over here. Now let's fix this error. So it says no provider for template ref, because we've not really given it a provider. So So just going to write this condition right here. If in the component unless directive here itself. So if not the condition, we'll start with the not condition. Then use this dot vcref dot create embedded view, and then pass this dot template ref inside this, right? So we're trying to in the view container, we're just trying to populate this template ref. Otherwise, in the other case, I'm just going to type in here this dot vcref dot clear. And let's go on to this project now, here again. Okay, so I'm just still getting the same kind of error. I think it's happening somewhere else, maybe. Yeah, it's here in the template condition. So just kind of remove this code from here. Now we have got some condition printed right here. So there's only one of them that has got printed right here. Between this and this. Let's see. I'll just modify the code to this is the template content for ngif, and then this is the template content for app unless. This is what we created on our own, right? So of course one of them is going to be printed. As of now the value is condition. Maybe what we'll also do is just to test this out in a better way, I'll just kind of create a button here. And we'll write some event on this to toggle this value. So click event, just use the toggle condition method, and just write toggle condition. And toggle condition really does what? It's going to change the value to true and false back. So I'm just going to use this method here, into the unless directive component, sorry, and I'll just make this double condition as a method here, right? It simply does what? Takes in this dot condition and sets it into not of this dot condition, right? So the condition keeps changing true and false, and maybe somewhere in the component right here as well, maybe just after the button, right? We'll just print the condition as this so that we get to know, right, what is happening, and then we'll just test our application again. So it's false to start with, and because it is false, you notice the if condition, it content doesn't really show up right here. It shows the unless condition content right here. The moment I do this, it's the if condition, because the condition is true. Show this here, unless the condition is true, and then only show this. So it's app unless app if. Remember, of course, the since it's a structural directive, it will really have an impact on the uh, the template right here. And notice what? So you created a paragraph, and just next to it, right, is where the content is going to be displayed. And let's convert this into true. You notice something got hidden right here, and so that's why I said container ref will kind of host your template tag on the element itself, like on the p tag right here itself. And so it's just what is happening right here. You can notice the content type right here, and it's kind of changes the DOM here itself. Now, not so good with, of course, small content, but just remember, whenever it's the content is going to, be either show this or show this, and then, data sets are big, it's going to have a huge impact on the performance right here, right? So that's about structural directives. I hope that you've learned this by now. So they're just two things. Remember the template ref and the view container ref, and you can do it very easily by using like a normal directive syntax. So that's it for this particular lecture. I'll catch you up next.